Hello guys, it is Sunday, so it is time for our weekly update of the most important events during this Russian war in Ukraine. And I stress it is extremely important to name the things the way they are. It is Russian war in Ukraine. It's not a Ukrainian war, it's not a conflict, not a crisis, not happening in Ukraine. It is Russian war in Ukraine. The day when all Russian troops leave my country, we start rebuilding, developing, and living our life normally. But at the moment, we are working hard to inspire all of these Russian troops leave Ukraine, either by running or in the black bags. I'm sorry, I'm a Ukrainian. I'm allowed to say the truth. And this week we continued our strategy, and I love seeing the bigger picture of everything happening. And Ukrainian armed forces targeted a number of oil refineries, oil depots, oil terminals in Russia, which is a great trouble now for Putin and co. And also we destroyed some very serious radars and even deep inside the Russian Federation, perhaps preparing the infrastructure for F-16s. And finally, we've received a soft yes for targeting Russian military objects with the missiles provided by our allies on the Russian territory. So let me tell you more about these important decisions and how they bring us closer to our democratic victory. My name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. You know, I'm an ordinary Ukrainian and I provide you with this typical understanding of a woman in Ukraine in times of war. But I'm really happy that with each day I see the strategy of the Ukrainian armed forces clearer and clearer. First of all, this is the destruction of Russian oil refineries, depots and other stuff that definitely leads to serious shortage of oil products inside Russia, and they are vital for the survival of their economy and their military machines. Because during wartime, first of all, the army desperately needs all of these oil products. And secondly, Russia is not a creative, not a competitive, not an modern country. It lives by selling its natural resources. So oil, gas and metals are the main products it actually exports. And now it had to stop exporting oil products, and it does not have a potential to reconstruct the destroyed depots, all because of sanctions. And this is the moment when the combination of Ukrainian attacks on oil refineries and European sanctions and American sanctions start working as a perfect tandem. Hopefully we will see more. And of course, Ukraine does not want any negotiations before the defeat of Russia and collapse of the Kremlin. And that's why no ceasefire is possible. And Russians need this ceasefire not to help their army, not to mourn 500,000 of their killed soldiers in Ukraine, but to actually try and rebuild some of oil refineries, or at least save the ones that are not yet targeted by us, and thus prepare for cold Russian winters. But no, the plan is different, and I hope we will continue destroying more and more of their oil production facilities, leading to 50% of shortage, not less. Especially taking into account how badly they ruin Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. And yes, I'm preparing for a planned outage tonight too. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is the easiest but extremely effective way to demonstrate your solidarity and help Ukraine become more vivid on the international arena and in YouTube. And another success of this week is the destruction of a number of Russian radars that they use to detect missiles, Ukrainian aircraft, and potentially nuclear missiles. And it was a very complicated moment when different countries reacted differently to Ukraine's targeting Russian radar that is capable of detecting nuclear targets. It is located deep inside the Russian area, and actually a Ukrainian drone broke a record when reached this radar like 1,800 kilometers away from our border, which means Russian air defense does not work, and even their nuclear radars are very, very vulnerable to small Ukrainian drones and inexpensive. Many of our allies were concerned that Russia may treat it as a threat, as a nuclear threat, and oh my God, for how many more days, weeks, months we will think that Russia will feel something is an escalation when Russia is the aggressor. Russia constantly escalates everything, and Russia actually breaks all the agreements, disrespects all the opinions. Guys, and targets us with Chinese and Iranian weapons. So anyway, I think that Ukrainian armed forces do not target these radars just for fun, even though it's fun. But it is a part of our strategy and actually the preparation for F-16, potentially, finally coming to Ukraine in the next weeks. Some of our pilots have already finished their training courses. They are finalizing things that they need, because F-16s, these are not just training how to fly or how to destroy, for example, a Kerch Bridge, but this is also a very important infrastructure maintenance of them. They are super expensive and they have to be protected. And that's why I think not only we prepare airfields and other stuff, but we also destroy Russian radars that can be used against these F-16s. And Ukrainian drones are doing the job perfectly. And our marine drones were also working really hard this week, and they targeted 4 Russian speedboats that were used for transportation and patrolling close to Kerch Bridge, and also we've destroyed a number of ferries around this famous Putin's Kerch Bridge. And once again, it is for fun, but not just for fun. I think this is it is preparing, and we cannot say the grounds, but the waters for the collapse of the Kerch Bridge. And I'm sure we will celebrate that together on the channel, because maybe that would be great if the destruction of Kerch Bridge would be the first task of F-16s in Ukraine. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What could be the best task for F-16? I know Kremlin sounds like great, but once again, our allies will not allow that. I don't know why. But Ukrainian drones working in the Black Sea actually cleaned the aquatorium from the evil Russian fleet. Now these remaining boats were upgraded to submarines, and hopefully the next target will be the Kerch Bridge, and we will see it underwater. But Ukrainian drones also broke another record this week when reaching Putin's residence in Helenjik, and 4 of them collapsed on its territory. And once again, oh my God, who could have imagined that this eternal ruler of Russia, great dictator Putin, leader of the strongest nation in the world, is so unprotected. So hopefully sometime soon, Ukrainian drone will find the correct bunker and will explode in that correct bunker. And if not Ukrainian drone, karma is also working, because this week another Putin's residence was on fire in Altai. It is very far away. I don't think it is even Russia, because you remember that Russia consists of the Russian Federation consists of 22 national republics, and Russia is just one of them. So after the collapse and dissolution of this fake empire, many new normal nations will appear. Don't be afraid of that. To deal with Kadyrov is much easier than to deal with a pack of Kadyrov and millions of Putins, what we have at the moment. So, another very beautiful gift that Ukraine has received from the people of Sweden. These are two very good aircraft that are known as Saab. These are early warning and control aircraft, flying radars. Ukraine has never had such, well, because we are like, we were definitely not preparing for war, as Putin's propaganda claims, and we were living our life not thinking that such brutality and violence, irrationality is possible. So anyway, these two huge, very expensive aircraft are coming from Sweden, and they will perform important tasks informing Ukrainian armed forces about all the targets on the water, on the land, in the air, and they don't have the problems that other radars on land may have because they don't have this block of the horizon. And this is huge because in 2024 we've destroyed two Russian similar aircraft, A-50. And Russia does not have many of them, plus even these A-50s, they were super outdated. And here we receive a better version of a similar technology with wings from Sweden. And I've read some hatred in Russian publics where they are super angry with this news, because not only we have destroyed theirs, but we've got ourselves better ones. So anyways, thank you so much, all the beautiful countries and people that support us, and hopefully politicians will listen to us and learn on the mistakes of the past. We are all waiting for this permission to hit Russian military objects on the territory of the Federation, but really close to the Ukrainian front lines, because, you know, the main Russian tactics at the battlefield are, first of all, these meat storms that they use, sacrificing like tens of thousands of their soldiers a month, and also scorched land, if I'm not mistaken, tactics when they cannot get anything, but they simply destroy everything. For example, in the city of Volchansk, they drop like hundreds of tons of explosives a day. And of course, they will not get the city. They will not get the people. What they will get is a complete ruin, and it's very painful because this is our country, this is our territory, these are our people, these were our schools, our streets, our parks. We want them to leave. Russia does not want to get this territory. Russia simply wants to destroy Ukraine as an example, very contrary to itself, as an example that, no, you can live a normal democratic life, you can forget your communist, awful communist, totalitarian past. By the way, let me know in the comments below, would you like more stories? I do not remember much from that period because I was really small. I was preschool when the Soviet Union collapsed, but still, the context, my family, and living here provides me with more associations and knowledge than you happy people who have never experienced that. But this permission to strike Russian airfields, their supplies of missiles, can actually prevent tragedies like the ones that Kharkiv goes through on a daily basis. I cannot watch the videos without tears, how people are looking for their relatives in the remains of the buildings that a second ago were their houses. It's very painful. Nothing can blur it. No Instagram will blur these memories in my head. This is our Ukrainian reality, and it's very unjust. If you have all the technologies and all the rights to prevent these tragedies, and someone politically doubts. I think that during these years of Ukrainian defense and resilience, we have already proved that we are not orcs. Even in the times of the greatest Russian violence, we do not turn our hatred on their civilians. We keep our normal, human, civilized face because we want to survive this war as normal, happy, healthy people and continue rebuilding our country. You know, I hope that just like Europe and the US after the Second World War became stronger, this will happen to Ukraine. I know lots of trauma, lots of tragedies, but the way to motivate myself is the way to imagine this normal, healthy, happy life in a joint democratic world. But we are in great danger because authoritarian regimes unite, and we can clearly see that on the organization of Zelensky's Peace Forum in Switzerland, when China actively advises countries not to visit it, which is another demonstration that China is an active supporter of Russia in this war. We have remains of Chinese technologies in the missiles that targeted and destroyed Ukrainian cities. We can clearly see that now China is #1 partner of Russia in trade, in everything. So don't be afraid to be allies of Ukraine. And I know you're not, but let's work and convince the politicians, those who doubt, those who need to make these decisions, but they want to repeat the mistakes of the Second World War period, 1938, when many so-called global leaders believed that to appease Hitler is the best way to prevent the war. It's just the country. When the bully is born, if we did not manage to stop Putin before he turned into this dictator, then there is nothing but punishment and complete defeat of the regime that can save us. And I know you know, so please help spread the word around the world. Still, I'm a native Ukrainian speaker, so please forgive my mistakes. And if you're new to the channel, please join our community and of course, share the videos that you feel like liking and sharing, because we are a democratic world and you do only the things that you want to do. And remember to join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. We have a beautiful merch shop and a new collection is coming, so check the items that you like. They work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film and write more. And yes, I'm writing, and I hope sometime, not very soon, but sooner than you think, I will be able to share more about the book on Ukraine that I think the world needs. But most importantly, thank you for standing with us. Thank you for this friendship and support that I and my countrymen feel daily. Slava Ukraini!